Here is the piece of cloth, kapa cloth that I made from the paper mulberry bark, the inner part of the mulberry bark. And you have to use water while you're making this to keep it damp or wet. And in the other video, you could see how when I did like this, and when I went like that, it was more harder, and then this one it's now more softer because I kept scrunching it and just playing with it and trying to continue to scrunch it and opening it and scrunching it and just to make it soft. And then after I did that, I probably like I went like this with it, you know, to make it soft. Did it on the back and the front. And then I took the smooth part of this rock and I, you know, went like this and, you know, pushed down and went back and forth with it to make it soft. And to make this, I'll show you how to make this, but you could use these, I mean, it's not these, but you can make like a big piece. This is just a little piece, like an example practice piece that I first made. This is actually my first practice piece that I ever made. It's a Hawaiian kapa cloth, and the reason why it's Hawaiian is because it's a Hawaiian nationality made up artwork that the early Hawaiians made, and they found it from the paper mulberry trees. And you can make clothes with this. You can make blankets. You can make window curtains. You can make all kinds of things with it. You can make I don't know, it's like a survival thing mostly. Like whenever you go camping, or if you get stuck in the woods and you have no clothes or something, you could use this as clothes to wear or something. But yeah, you have to make it bigger, and what you do is you can fold the pieces in, and you take like a rock or something, or you can even take like a piece of wood and you beat it, you know, until the wood, you know, goes together. And I'll show you how this is done. Here is the paper mulberry stick. It used to have other sticks or stems on it with the leaves that I pulled off, and then I scraped all the areas that the stems had to make it flatter, and I rinsed it really good. Oops. Okay, there, you can see more of what it looks like. Keeps getting fuzzy. Yeah, this is what it looks like. And so yeah, this is how I usually do it, because I think it's better to do it this way. You're gonna cut a piece of the wood, like this. And you have to make sure you get like a really sharp paring knife, and then you're going to strip the bark. And there's going to be an inner bark and an outer bark. And you want to remove both of those, and it's both going to come off at the same time. Some people like to scrape the outer bark first before they collect the inner bark, but I like to pull off both pieces all at one time. And sometimes this stuff can be a little hard to pull off, you know. See how I'm pulling it off all at once? And then after you start pulling it off, it starts to get easier to pull off. But if you get like a real thick piece of bark or a real thick stick, then it's going to be a lot harder to pull off. And then once you have stripped this whole, once you have stripped all of this bark off of the stick, then you can just throw the stick back into the woods or wherever, the trash, I don't know. Or maybe if you want to keep it for mulch or something, I don't know. Okay, so I stripped that side. Finished stripping this side. Okay, there. Now it's all stripped. This is what it looks like. And you have to try to scrape the green part off, not this side. You're going to scrape this side. I'll show you how I'm going to do this. Because personally, I think it's a lot easier to remove both bark pieces at once for the first part, and then the second part you just sorry, my phone fell. It always keeps doing this. It doesn't like me holding my phone like this, but hold on. I'm trying my best to not let it fall. Okay. Try this again. Hold on. Okay, so scrape this part. Take that off. And you want to be careful not to scrape it too much. My phone's falling again. It's driving me nuts. I'm trying so hard to make sure that my phone doesn't fall down. So I'm trying to record a video, and if my phone falls and my hand hits the stop button, then I'm gonna have to record it all over again. Okay, once you have scraped at least this much of the bark, the outer bark off, then you can turn it around and scrape this part off. Actually, shit. I always do that and it almost cuts myself, but I'm always almost cutting myself with this damn knife. It's gonna be a dangerous job depending on how you scrape it. Okay, so this should be enough to pull up since I just scraped it up. And you just start pulling that part up. See how it comes up like that? That's how it should look whenever you pull it up. But if it comes off like that and it rips off, then just take the knife and scrape it a little bit. Until most of all that green stuff and the brown stuff comes off. And you want to scrape the brown part up a little bit so you can pull it up again. Now you might want to keep watching this video because, you know, this is a good thing to learn when you're stuck out in the woods, because who knows when God's coming back. We may not have some clothes with the way this world is going. We may not have some clothes, you know, in the year that God decides to finally come back. I mean, we never know when he's coming back, but, you know, just to prepare to be on the safe side, I guess. This is how to make your own clothes when you don't have none. And I wouldn't necessarily call it a bum's clothes either, because I'm sure people had to make clothes like this, you know, when God first made the world. This is how people would make their clothes in the beginning of life here on earth. Because you know how when Adam and Eve was put on this earth nude and they had to wear some kind of plants to cover their body? Well, here is a type of plant that you could use to cover your body. It's called paper mulberry. And it's a tree that grows anywhere from like 15 to 20 feet tall, maybe 25 feet tall. I don't know, but pieces that have you know, split ends like that, I just cut it like this, so it'll be straight, and then maybe cut that little piece at an angle to make it look nice and straight, and then just kind of remove that little excess piece hanging off. And you just do that to the rest of these. Well, actually, this is only 2 pieces. Okay. I don't want this piece. You do the same thing to this. And when you go to gather the paper mulberry, you might want to carry a pocket knife, because when you break the branches off, this right here, since it's a strong fiber, this will stop you from pulling the branch away after you break the stick. So you want to cut this off so that you can pull the stick away from the other half of the other broken half. I don't want this piece. Yeah, whenever there's spots, like brown spots like that, I kind of try to cut those pieces out. Because sometimes they can be hard to scrape out if you're trying to remove those brown spots. And whenever you're scraping the green part, if the inner bark is really thin like this, you can just cut it off and throw the very, very thin part away and just keep that piece. And then you can just throw all this away. Keep this and this piece that you just stripped. And you see all the green pieces? You can scrape the green part out of there. And it's okay to leave some of the green pieces. Oh, here's a piece I don't want. Oops. Okay. And it's okay to leave it green a little bit. But if you can get most of that green stuff out of there, then it should be good. But if you can't, and it's just continuing to stay green, then I guess you could leave it. Because I had some green on that kapa piece that I showed you, and it just dried up to where the green wasn't even there anymore. All this green stuff turned into this. And so I like to soak this in water, and I keep changing the water every 1 or 2 days so that the water don't start to smell or rot or whatever. But so what you do with this is, hold on. Move this stuff out of the way. Okay, here we're gonna get, hold on. Okay, clean that off, clean all the excess dust off of this. Alright. I need to wet this. And with the inner bark, if you have kept your inner bark inside of a bucket like that for 1 or 2 days and you pull it out and it smells funny, you could wash this with dish soap and rinse the nasty smell out, and then smell it. It will smell nice and fine. It won't even have a smell anymore. So it's kind of like washing clothes inside of a laundry machine. And hold on, I'm trying to straighten out this piece. Okay, so here, we'll start on this side, I guess. I know there's a little, actually I'm going to cut that piece off. See that black part right there? I'm going to cut that off. Okay, there might be some more little black areas, but oh well. I guess it's okay. My phone's trying to fall down again. Hold on. So you're gonna lay this bark flat, and if you don't have like another piece of wood, you can get like a flat river stone like this, and you can pound it out. I like to use the round side instead of the flat side, and just kind of pound it out. Actually, hold on, hold it like this. And you just keep pounding it out until it widens, you know. Hold on, I'm gonna have to add water to this. Right. There we go. When you add water to it, it spreads it out a little bit better. You see what I mean? See how it's spreading out like that? And when you spread it out like this, you can fold it like this. And fold it like that and keep pounding it until it blends in with this part, and it'll become another layer, like a second layer. And then you can fold it again and you can pound it again and it'll become a third layer. And that's what I did with this stuff here. And after you get done pounding this stuff out and making it as long as you want, you could also put another layer like this. Hold on. Shit. Hold on, give me a minute. This damn thing's being difficult. Okay. Okay, you see how I'm doing this? You can put another layer like this next to it. And you see how there's another layer next to this, or actually it's on top of this one. You can pound this out and make it blend in with this and make it into one piece. And you can keep doing that to make it as long or as wide as you want. And after you make it as wide as you want and add all the layers that you want to make it thick, then after you're done doing that, then you can lay it out in the sun and make sure it's not going to rain. Then you can lay it out in the sun, maybe on a somewhat windy day, I don't know, but when you lay it out in the sun for maybe a couple days, then it'll finally turn into it'll turn into this, but then later it will be hard like cardboard. And when it's hard like cardboard, like I said in the first video, you have to keep scrunching it and opening it up and scrunch it again and open it up until it's soft, and then you could, you know, do like this, you know, on the edge of the table. You know what I mean? You can run it on the edge of the table like this to make it soft. But this is basically how you do it. Trying to fall off. And these fibers are actually kind of strong too. You could actually make string or rope with this stuff. If you want to tie down something, you can twist it together and make like a rope or something. See how this is kind of has like a split in it? You can put it on top of that. And try to put it together like I was telling you about making a second layer. Or not a second layer, but two pieces. And it won't go together right away. You really have to work. You really have to work it. You can probably try using the flat piece just to put it together. And then just keep laying it out and keep working at it. So now it wants to go crooked a little bit. And you really don't have to beat this too hard. You see how it puts it together into one. I fixed that little, I fixed that one area where there was a split in it. It went back together after I beaded it together. And then you can just scoot it down a little bit. And this is how you put the plant fibers together. Yeah, this is quite of a long process, but once you get the hang of it, it won't be that bad. Because me and my dance teacher are probably the only ones right now that I know of that are trying to put forth the effort into making some kapa, spelled K-A-P-A. This stuff wants to split again, so you have to think if you beat it too hard when you're trying to put it together, then it'll keep splitting, I guess. Oops. See? Well, that piece is already split, but that's okay. So then I got the rest of that to do. Add some water to this. Okie dokie. It's more interesting to watch people do this in the videos on YouTube, because they do it outside and they have all the stuff prepared already to make this. Here in my videos, this is just, you know, this is just a practice piece, you know, but this is basically how to do it, you know. I'm trying to work on getting, like, order a certain piece of wood. It's called Milo wood, and me and my dance teacher are both trying to order a piece of Milo wood. It's like a plank piece of wood, and we're trying to carve our own designs in the wood to try to spread out the fibers, and it sort of kind of looks like a meat tenderizer, but not really. It just has, you know, like little triangles and squares and diamonds all shaped up in it, and circles and dots in it, and it's supposed to help spread out the fibers in the in the bark. Stuff just doesn't want to go back together. Okay, so I guess I'll just fold it in. Actually, no, I'm not going to fold it in. Okay, after you have beaten your... Here, I'm going to add a little bit of water to this. There's water already on the pan. Just kind of dip it in the water a little bit. Okay. So after you have... Hold on a minute. After you have beaten the bark into some kapa, into like a sheet of kapa, you're gonna try to carefully roll it together. Going to carefully roll it up and try to tie it so that it doesn't come unrolled. And you're going to place it in the bucket of water and just leave it there for a couple days. Because leaving it in the water softens it up. But if you're really busy and you can't finish this the next couple days, then just pour out the water and rinse this stuff and add fresh water so that it's not going to stink up the house and stuff. But whenever you roll it up like this, and let's see, I'll just use this to tie it up with. Okay. Okay, how does that look? So after you have roll it up and tie it up, this piece is to use for later to attach to other pieces of fibers that you have beaten down to make it flat, and you bring it over to the bucket and add it in there, and here is a wide piece of kapa that I had beaten that I'm still working on, and right now I don't have time to finish because I need to get ready for church tomorrow. But this is what I have done, and I need to use pieces to attach to this, and eventually I'm gonna try to remove some green parts to this, because all of this, I got rid of the green part by scraping it because it makes the kapa look better, I'm guessing. So just fill up the bucket of water to the point where it covers this completely. You don't have to fill it up to the top. You just, make sure it stays underneath the water. And then when you're done filling this up, you can set it somewhere to where it's just gonna stay in water. Because if you don't put it in water, it's gonna dry up and it's not gonna be any good anymore. Yeah, that should be good. And then this is my laundry room, or actually my storage room, since I don't have a wash machine or a dryer. So I just leave it in this room for a couple days whenever I'm ready to play with it again. And that's how you make kapa. And then after you make the kapa, after you make one of these, scrunch it together, make it soft however you want, then you can collect other plants that has dyes in it and make your own type of dye. And I'll show you a dye that I had already made and collected. This is pokeberry seeds that I had squashed and removed the juice from. And you don't eat it, because they're poisonous. This is the pokeberry dye that I had collected from the pokeberry, and I'm keeping it in the fridge, you know, so that it doesn't go bad. And these are Floridian Rougeberry that I had collected in the woods. It's got like this, kind of like this clear, like almost clear reddish orange dye. I'm gonna see how that goes. That's nothing. But these are the two type of dyes that I collected. And you could also boil one of these tea leaves or tea plants. It will turn the water green. It's got a dye in it, and you could use that dye for this. And these are not poisonous. You can boil them and make tea out of it and drink it, and add water or add sugar to the water when it's after it's done boiling, and you can drink it like tea. It's really good. This plant's just an elephant ear. You don't do anything with that one. And then I was told that you can use other plants. There was another dye that you could use. It's a root that they sell in the grocery store, and it makes like a yellow dye, and you use it for foods and stuff. But and after you make the dyes, then you can take these bamboo pieces and cut them up somehow to make, you know, small, wide pieces, maybe about 1.5 feet long or whatever. And I guess you sand one side, and like, let's just say the bamboo piece is this wide. You can carve your own designs that you want into the bamboo and use those bamboo strips as stamps. And you take the kapa and you stamp your designs with that dye that you have found in the woods or whatever, or maybe in the store. And you could probably use food coloring for this too as well. So but yeah, that's how you make kapa, Hawaiian kapa. And like I said, you can use like a flat smooth stone, and you can do like this to flatten it out after it gets done drying. And this one's, you don't use one of these. This is just used for hula, which it's basically a castanet stone. In Hawaii we call them ili ili. And that's all there is to it. And after you make the design, you can, I guess, leave that sitting out in the sun to dry, and you'll have your little cloth, whatever you want it to be. So let me know if you liked the video, and I'll be glad to answer any other questions if you want to know. Alright, thank you.